All right, so we're in the studio today. We're talking about social media, and in particular, we're talking about the Twitter platform. Now, for those of you who are regular readers, viewers, subscribers to FITSNews, you know Twitter's my favorite platform. It has been for a long time. I joined the platform back in 2008, and it's kind of where I go to add context to the stories that we cover on FITSNews, to provide additional updates on breaking news. It's where I go to kind of call out politicians, institutions, and the mainstream media outlets which cover for them. So it's a forum that I enjoy. It's a quick fire, rapid take, hot take, if you will, sort of platform where views get bounced back and forth really quickly, sort of like synapses, right? And that's good for me. It's good because I have kind of an ADD component to myself, to my mind. It kind of works in a very visual way, I guess you would say. And so Twitter is very good for me. I think it's also very good for our attention deficit disordered society, where we don't focus on things very much. And if you can make a point quickly and succinctly and passionately, it gets that point across well. So anyway, it's a platform I like to post the news, to post cute pics of my kids, random observations, links to songs and movies that I like. So has a lot of uses. But last week, something happened which made me kind of rethink my whole approach to Twitter and to social media in general. Our news outlet broke a story about some school violence that took place down in Ladies Island, South Carolina. Particularly, we broke the news of a black middle school student who violently attacked a white middle school student down there on Ladies Island. And again, to me, the news value had nothing to do with the colors of the people involved in this incident. It had to do with the incident, with the fact that school violence is a growing problem in South Carolina, and it's a problem that needs to be addressed. So we posted a video of this attack, and within about 4 days, the video had drawn more than 500,000 views. And at that point, Twitter apparently decided that it violated its rules, and so it took the video down and suspended the FITSNews account. Now, why does that matter? Why am I bringing it to your attention? Why does that kind of upset me a little bit? A couple things. I get that Twitter is a private company, okay? I get that. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all these mega corporate entities, they're private companies. They can make the rules they want to make and enforce those rules the way they want to enforce them, okay? They can be hypocrites, they can show bias, and they can very selectively enforce their rules if they want. That's their business. But, and this is a key but, these platforms have gained their place in the American marketplace due to federal protections. Congressionally approved protections back in 1996, the Communications Decency Act, put in place protections that allowed these companies to grow, basically allowed them to spread their messages without them being held accountable. So the entire growth of social media, where you see something and you post it, well, guess what? The place you post it can't be held liable, okay, because of these protections. And so Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all these different services, they grew exponentially in the American marketplace because it was a forum where, again, they weren't held accountable for the posts that people made on their platforms. So I guess the question I asked in the story I wrote this past weekend was, if that sort of protection has enabled these companies to turn into billion-dollar conglomerates, and that protection was based on the notion of a free marketplace, a free exchange of ideas, then is there a government role to protect that marketplace? But it's not just about the government role. Twitter's former CEO, Jack Dorsey, testified before the U.S. Congress back in 2018. And during that testimony, he said that freedom of expression and opinion is a fundamental human right. And he said that his company, Twitter, would always default to that freedom. Folks, that's not what they're doing. First, they were shadow banning people. Then they were flagging accounts and manipulating tweets and modifying tweets. Then they're outright suppressing news and banning the accounts that tweeted the news. So, again, all this in the run-up to the 2020 presidential election, right? Right at the time when it mattered, right at the time when people were paying attention. And again, to me, that's wrong, because at FITSNews, we have a very different philosophy on the news, okay? In our news outlet, yes, I'm an opinionated individual. I'm going to publish information. And from time to time, I'm going to put my slant on it. I'm going to tell you what I think. But the difference between us and Twitter is that not only do we not suppress divergent views or conflicting views or views which call me an asshole, we print them. We bring them to your attention. We put them out there every bit as prominently as the news I post. In fact, I was having a conversation the other day with a politician who disagreed with something I said. And I told the guy, I said, listen, write me up something. Not only will we run it, we will run it every bit as prominently as the criticism that I made. Unlike the mainstream press, which will take that criticism and they'll bury it on the last page of a print edition that no one even reads anymore. So again, two totally different approaches. I really believe in the marketplace of ideas, in the free flow of thoughts, in the power of a thought getting accepted in the marketplace, which is what the late Supreme Court Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes wrote over a century ago. Again, that matters to me. I don't think you achieve truth by censoring. I think you achieve it by having an honest debate. And unfortunately on Twitter, that debate is not happening anymore. It's not happening anymore. Twitter has decided it's going to be a woke censor, and it's only going to allow one train of thought, one narrative, one perspective to hold sway. And again, to me, that's unacceptable. So what am I going to do? Well, again, I don't think me pulling off of Twitter is going to have any great impact on the site. I really don't. I'm not that arrogant. I'm not King James, LeBron. I'm not Justice Beaver. I'm not a crime-fighting beaver. I'm not Donald Trump. I don't have millions of followers, but I got a healthy following, a healthy local following, and it's one that stimulates exchanges. It's one that sparks reaction, and it's one that ultimately lends value, albeit a small value, to Twitter. So what am I going to do? Well, we're not going to pull the account. We're not going to pitch a hissy fit about it or anything like that. We're going to continue to let our articles auto-post on the platform. But when it comes to the other things I use Twitter for, we're just not going to do it anymore. And when I start linking to people, in the past I would link to their Twitter pages, we're not going to do that anymore either. And again, will it have a big impact in the grand scheme of things? Maybe not. Maybe not. But I'm not going to be censored, okay? And I'm not going to have some big tech company put me in timeout like I'm some unruly child simply because it wants to hypocritically and selectively enforce one narrative over another. No, I'm not going to be a part of that. And also, why play a game if you know the rules are rigged? I mean, it's just not fun. It's not fun. And Twitter, frankly, it's just not fun anymore because it's become basically a far-left echo chamber. So one of the things we're going to start doing at FITSNews, and I want you to keep an eye out on this, we're going to start doing some posts every day, hopefully, of stuff I would have posted to Twitter, right? Again, all those same things, updates on breaking news, context on the stories that we cover, cute pics of my kids, right? All that stuff. And we're just going to see how it goes because, again, I do think the format is worthwhile, but I'm not going to participate in a format like that, again, is all about advancing one view over another and which has profited for years from federal protections that are supposed to uphold a vibrant marketplace. Twitter is not a vibrant marketplace, people. It is a one-way ratchet, and I'm not going to be a part of that ratchet any longer. Thanks for listening.